Good evening, awesome folks out there. My name is Scott Schertzen. That is JT McGuire, and that is Mr. Ryan O'Regan. And welcome to Tales from the Film Set with our near 30 years of experience in film and television, breaking down all the coolest and sometimes worst things that are happening in TV, movies, and pop culture. We are, as mentioned, basically in everything we've talked about, we will be spoiling the ever-loving heck out of Season 4.
Cobra Kai!
Cobra Kai! You know, we're also giving predictions of Season 5, talking about the future of that. And also, as well, we will be doing the breakdown on Book of Boba Fett Episode 1 and basically the unexpected backlash that it's getting. First, before I get into all that, I do have to quick knock out. This is a show that's part of Spanglish World Network, Zingo TV, channel 249, 250. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire Stick, and all smart TVs 2016 and forward. Also, I can't remember the rest of it. Screw it. Moving on. I'm just going to worry about the legal stuff.
Professional. Good.
You know, anyway, like I said, you guys aren't here for that, all that legal stuff.
Either one of us.
To find out and basically talk about Cobra Kai Season 4. You know, we are going to be spoiling the crap out of this. So if you haven't seen it yet, or, basically otherwise, if you care, follow what you feel is right. But I'm letting you know, fair disclaimer, we're spoiling the crap out of this. Gentlemen, how you doing though?
Doing well.
Pretty good.
Do you want to murder us yet?
No.
Wait, why?
Why? Dude, it's only 4 days into the new year. We have all the time in the world.
Not to peel back the curtains of the show a little bit, but I think last week I mentioned about how I used to work with an anchor who would wait 10 seconds before he got on the air to get into the studio. And what do I do the following week? I wait literally till the clock says like 30 seconds to log in to start the show.
Dude, GT, you have no discipline.
Let me say this. You lack discipline. To use South Park here. But in this case, you've been on time every single time. I wasn't sweating it too much. And besides, I did Sports Den 3 hours ago, 100% the entire show on my own. So if I had to do this, I would have been fine with it. I ran out of time. I had a bunch of crap I could have kept going into there, but anyway.
Usually Rob and Ryan are with you, so I'm not overly worried, but then as I'm like logging in, I look at the messages like, am I doing the show by myself? Like, oh no.
Well, both of you guys.
Well, if only you were.
Anyway, like I said, basically it's all good, it's all fine. You guys are fine, no issues, everything's fine.
Are you fine? Are you? Okay?
I'm fine, and Season 4 was fine, pretty much. I know we're going to be breaking that down. Like I said, spoilers abound. I figured what we should probably do out of respect is give everybody like 2 minutes on each topic, what they liked, 2 minutes on what they disliked, 2 minutes on predictions, and kind of go in a circle sort of a thing, trying to maintain that so that basically you guys get a word in edgewise and I'm not babbling the entire show and making an ass of myself.
Round robin. Yum.
Yes. So out of respect in this case, which one of you guys would like to go first? I figure we'll go clockwise in this case. Okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
No, JT,
right.
You want to roll?
Yeah, I'll go for it first.
So like whatever category first. So.
Well, I guess I'll go in the order of like hate to love, because that's how I kind of felt about this series. When I think I said this either last week or the week before that Cobra Kai always kind of drove me crazy with just the level of drama and stupidity from where that drama comes. It's just like everyone is at each other's throats, but if they just sat down for a minute and discussed things, they'd be like, oh, I can see where the misunderstanding came from.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't happen in this world. And like it was actually like my anxiety was building for like the first 4 or 5 episodes, because like first off, I want to totally hate Cobra Kai, but they're trying to give John Silver like sort of a like, well, he's not too bad of a guy, he's kind of a nice guy too. And then you get this kid who's bullied like Daniel LaRusso was in the original film. So now it's like, oh, so now we have this other kid to follow who's just like Daniel, except he's being bullied by Daniel's son, and then goes to Cobra Kai as the good guys. But as annoyed as I was, and I'm like, I'll be honest, I just started watching this last night because I realized we were going to review it today. It's like, I should probably watch this.
You binge watch on 10 or what's that? Okay.
So I kind of finished last night around 6, and I was kind of like it's good, but it's frustrating. And then I banged out the last few today, and it was like, oh my God, this is one of the best seasons they've had so far, because it all came together in the end. To see that kid I was just mentioning, the kid that was bullied, go from
Kenny.
like this sweet, innocent kid, Kenny, and then he becomes like this evil little mastermind. Like, I'm going to make your life a living hell.
He's a new version of Hawk.
Yes, he is. Well, actually, even wickeder than Hawk, because Hawk wasn't even that like cruel, I think, in the first 2 seasons. But now
go that way a little bit, but
he was kind of like 1980s villain, like, I'll get you next time, Gadget. This kid seems more like 90s comic book villain, like, I'm going to pick you apart piece by piece. It's going to be an interesting dynamic, but it's just like, ooh, like, he's such a sweet boy. What happened, boy? And then, like, John Silver, they were trying to make John Silver sympathetic. And I was like, no, John Silver should be the ultimate villain. You should hate him. You should despise him. And then by the end of that, he was freaking I'm calling him John Silver. Long John
Silver. Terry Crews.
You got wrestling on the brain. It's like you watched AEW.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's where it was coming from.
Yeah, I was gonna say you blew my cover.
No, it's Terry.
But so I wanted to hate Terry, and I was so annoyed that they were making me not hate Terry. And then by the ending, like, I despise Terry. The world is right.
Straight full out villainy at the end of that. Ryan, I want to give you a shot.
All right. Well, first of all, I did the best I could with Cobra Kai colors, considering I don't own shirts like some people.
Respect.
So it's completely fine. You know, I think I the gold or yellow or black. I'm good. As far as the series overall, it's campy. The show is automatically campy. It gives you the right amount of pretty much hard knuckle action that you would expect from the kind of subject matter that we're dealing with, but it is just now bordering on like 90210 / Melrose Place. It's getting to that, especially because of Terry Silver. Terry Silver is like, he is the one in Melrose Place who will fake a death in order to gain advantage. He would. I'm telling it right now.
Kids won't remember what Melrose Place is. Though, I'm sorry.
I see it happening.
Thanks to you, I now have this montage of Terry Silver to the theme song of 91210.
Yes, him and Heather Locklear. They're going to shack up, I'm telling you.
I'm going to need a montage.
God, that's in my head now, too.
Oh, yeah, no, the 80s vibes are completely there, absolutely. And how you said how Kenny was like the new Hawk. I think that pretty much just goes to show what the real issue with Cobra Kai is. I think more so than possibly some of the other seasons, we really see it in this season where, yes, the power, the strength, the fortitude that it can give you is enticing. We've seen it in new people like Kenny. We've seen it in old retirees like Silver. But it ultimately just corrupts you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem of Cobra Kai. It has its merits, but ultimately it will leave you less of a human being than you were before. And I think we saw that especially with, obviously Johnny and his son and the rigmarole that they've gone through. So much so that now his son is regretting the actions, especially when he saw what happened to Kenny. And obviously in season 5, there's probably going to be a little bit more of a bonding there. How that's going to happen when he's off, looking for Miguel in New Mexico, I don't know. I don't know when that bonding is going to happen. Because now we've got, cross-cultural. I'm going to love to see where they actually get to be, Miguel's father. I wonder who casting is that. And then
my guess is Danny Trejo. When in doubt, Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah, no. I hope it's Danny. I want to see Danny Trejo messing with some karate people. I want to see that.
Dude, you think you honestly? That's not that far. You could see Danny. Trejo
but I mean, I like what they did with the show. The minute they actually made the changes to the All Valley, I knew what it was going to happen. I knew what it was going to be. The minute we knew that we were getting another season after this, we knew what it was going to be. There was going to be some sort of loophole, and unfortunately, it's a half legitimate, half illegitimate win for Cobra Kai. Because
Yeah,
obviously we see that there's corruption.
That
Ooh,
only Tori and right now
scandal,
the audience knows.
you know.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
but the
God forbid there be anything, pure after you had Carrie Underwood performing, which I don't know what the point of that was.
I will. Okay, I can break that down. I mean, I actually
Please
saw
do.
something in that most fans do. Okay, I guess I'll go back to you in a second, but let me explain this. Carrie Underwood, initially, I saw that as a jumping the shark, but it was smart. I mean, okay, she's not going to in real life head all the way down to Southern California and basically MC a karate tournament. I get that, but do you know what song she was doing? The song was "Moment of Truth" by Survivor, which was in the original Karate Kid movie and used during the montage of that movie. So I was listening
I
to
knew it sounded 80s as hell. I knew that.
Yeah, no, it was actually, most people, when they think of Karate Kid, they typically think of "You're the Best Around" by Joe Esposito, but "Moment of Truth" by Survivor was one of the songs that was in that movie. So I'm listening to it starting, and I'm like, that sounds like "Moment of Truth," and they started doing it, and then eventually I saw, how they blended it into like the montage leading up to the, the end of the tournament and everything, and I thought, okay, that's smart. Because if I have to sit here and listen to that song for 3 minutes, not to knock Carrie Underwood, but it's going to slow down the flow of the show. And the way, like I said, they kind of blended the first few seconds of it into the montage, it spilled over well and was a neat callback that probably most people, myself, maybe like, Nia Tus over at like Cobra Kai Theory, we'd pick up on that. But the vast majority of people who watch that would be like, what the hell was the point of that? So right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, obviously, like I said, it was a great montage song, but it just came out of nowhere. But now that you actually say that it's a reference to a song that was used in the series, because God forbid anything not be connected to the series of movies. Now it makes perfect sense. It's just still like, of all people, Carrie Underwood.
I was
like, we're trying to guy like an actual 80s performer.
See, here's the thing, the kids can relate to it, but I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, this is cool. But I remember thinking to myself, nobody's going to get this. And this is going to show the unbridled amount of geekitude that I have as a Karate Kid fan, that I got that reference the first time out.
Yeah, no, they went
actually it's one of my workout songs. It's one of my my 80s playlist that I have for on YouTube. "Moment of Truth" by Survivor is the song on there, and it's wherever the video I got it from is undercut by clips from Karate Kid. So, yeah, I'm that much of a nerd. But anyway, continue.
No. Fanboy out all you want, because I mean, this was just so 80s. Terry Silver alone is the epitome of 80s, between the cocaine binges and the ponytail, and he's cleaned himself up, but oh, that's just still in him. Oh, that evilness is just still in him. Ah, where's my big chunky phone? Where's my sauna? Where's everything?
It's like in season 5, he didn't dump anyone. He just killed his girlfriend and burned down his mansion.
Oh yeah, no, we never found out what happened to the girlfriend. We don't know if she got ghosted or became a ghost. We don't know what happened. She may be down in the wine cellar for all we know. But I liked everything except the ending, because the ending just went off in so many different directions. And oh my god, the Stingray stuff, which I know it's funny considering how much of him I look like right now, but the fact that he was beaten up to the point where, you want to be a part of Cobra Kai, tell him Kreese sent you here. It's like, well, come on.
But nobody saw that coming. I mean, here's the one thing. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like, there has to be now another level of evil than Kreese. We have to say that he's like, the neutral calamity of all this.
But don't worry, in season 5, they're going to come back and they're going to show why he's still got a little bit of good left in him. Because the hell?
Well, because he cares about Johnny. We saw that. The chink in his armor is Johnny. And he sees him as a surrogate son. He sees him as like the one thing that he wants to protect in this world. Not so much his longevity, not so much his legacy, but Johnny.
Well, no, I'm referring to Terry Silver.
Fully good.
I know. I'm saying like Terry Silver. Like now he's like full on evil. But like next season, they'll do something to show like, well, Terry's got a little bit of good in him. He's got this tiny bit right there.
Well, it makes me wonder: is Chosen gonna go ahead and be like, "No, I want to take down Daniel's son"? It's like, is he gonna flip over?
I could see that happening.
Here's what I'm
Yes,
thinking.
but we shouldn't. Just pick a lane, people. We've got people going from Miyagi-Do to Eagle Fang to Cobra Kai and back again. Like,
and no, Topanga barely made an appearance. We had that person last week that commented about Topanga karate. They barely showed up in the season.
it's like if I was a parent of one of these childs and I had to go ahead and pay all the admission fees and all the money for all the new gis, I would drive myself insane. I don't care if this is the Valley. You don't have
Terry
that
Silver
much money.
like gave it away for free.
Terry Silver and Ralph Mott and Daniel are both rich. So,
yeah.
Oh,
well,
okay.
No. Daniel is wealthy. Terry is rich.
Fair.
And I think that will come into play at some point.
Remember, with Miyagi-Do, it's not about the money. It's about the karate.
And the money.
Well, no, because he never charged. Remember in season 2, he's like, don't be a snake in the grass. Because Miyagi-Do, it's not about the money. It's about the karate. So
so all the car sales are funding all the building of the stage in the back of the dojo. It's like, I'm sure the wife is loving this.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. I've been aching on this side, and I'm sorry, aching to be able to start talking about this a little bit. So, do you have any final thoughts before I roll into my own?
Wait. So was this whole entire thing to get us to talk because you don't want us interrupting you?
No, this whole thing was to get you to talk so I wouldn't interrupt you.
Fair.
Because I'm trying to force myself to not cut over the top of you because I have my own thoughts, but it's unfair of me to do that. So I wanted to make sure you guys had a chance to be able to do all this kind of stuff. And, I would not talk over you. And frankly, I didn't want to be rude, bottom line.
Okay. Well, Scott Sensei, go right ahead.
But Ryan, did you have anything else? I want to give you a chance to close that out too.
I mean, what is there to close out? I mean, we obviously know we're getting season 5. We know that some people are taking road trips. Some people are having crisis of conscience. And Terry Long John Silver, whatever you want to call him, is now the new big bad. So it's a question of, okay, they can't practice karate anymore. No more Eagle Fang, no more Miyagi-Do. So they'll just combine, call it another name, and do something. Who knows? They're finding so many loopholes with any of this stuff. I just want to see Terry and Stingray get their butts kicked, finally.
One more thought I just want to put on, and I'll let you go. With all this talk of karate, you notice that mixed martial arts, which has been a major sport for the last 25 years, has not been brought up once in this entire series.
It's not pure.
And now neither is these two martial arts that are combining together now. So is season 5 going to have like wrestling enter in, and they're like, yes, we should go for full, learn everything. Okay, that was my point. Scott?
I was going to say, basically, they'll start training with the Kaioshin, the Supreme Kai. Take out the sword, unleash their hidden potential.
No, let's make it a little more grounded. Let's get a Steve Blackman, Kai and Tai from WWE. Let's get something a little more authentic.
Well, you saw a little capoeira in the Piper character.
Oh yes.
You saw a little bit in that one. But let me go with this first. The first, for me, what bugged me the most was the whole, Daniel and Johnny thing. I really have a hope and a belief that maybe season 5, they're not going to be doing that whole thing. 2 steps backwards, 3 steps forward. We get along, we hate each other, go die. No, you go die first and then bond at the end. We talked about this last week before the season came out, that we were kind of done with season 3. And here we are in season 4. It's the same crap again. And all of us, I think, can agree that we're a little burned out on that, like I said, slow building, but oftentimes dropping back bromance that they have.
Do you think next season they're going to keep them apart for most of it, and that's how they're going to keep that storyline fresh?
Yes. I think in this case, my opinion is, and this is part of my prediction for season 5, is that Daniel and Chozen are going to be working together. I suspect, my opinion is, Tori is probably going to come to Daniel's wife, Amanda, because they bonded a little bit there, and she's already come to Amanda for help and be like, I don't know who won this, I saw him pay off the officials to give me the win. And that might give, that'll go back to Daniel. Daniel and Chozen will probably somehow or other get in contact with Johnny, or Johnny will find out on his own. And then boom, you have, Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang, or whatever they're going to call it, back in the mix, because the agreement was not truly honored. I think Johnny will be spending a lot of the time in Mexico looking for Miguel and Miguel's father. There were pictures that William Zabka had posted from Puerto Rico. So I don't know if he was filming anything down there or anything specific in that regard. But if he was doing stuff in PR for to simulate Mexico, that could be part of it. I think for probably, if I had to guess, if it's a 10-episode season again, they're going to be apart for about 8 episodes and doing their own thing. The softie in me, I mean, I loved that ending where him and Robbie reconciled. You know, I think we were waiting for that. We needed that for 4 seasons. And I would love to see him in season 5 take Robbie with him and be like, I have to figure this out. I need, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to make a choice between the two of you again. Come with me. I'll look after you, but let's head down to Mexico. Let's figure this out because you two have to bury your own hatchet as well.
And together they uncover a cocaine drug ring that is connected to Terry Silver.
Dude,
that's when they end up in Puerto Rico.
I was waiting for them to reveal that Terry Silver was really Miguel's father. I would have been, honestly, I would have been so pissed if that actually was the case there. I remember, because if you remember, I had a late start because I had to drop the call off and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I didn't actually.
They would do it.
I got 5 episodes in for the first day, and then on New Year's Day I got the other 5 episodes. Actually, that sounds amazing. Which part actually
does it though?
Takes Robbie with him?
Teresa?
What's that? Yes, I think it's okay. Listen, he takes Robbie with him. I think that's fine. But I remember telling Robin, she's like, how's it going right now? What's the update? She doesn't want to watch it, but she wants to know what's happening with it. So I was telling her, and I'm like, we've got the whole thing. They don't get along again. It's getting a little old. And JT, like you said, the first 5 episodes were kind of middling a little bit. But then the last 5, it picked up, and it's very edge of your seat when you had that tournament again. Mm-hmm. I like the idea that they decided to do the tournament when it came to women's division, men's division, and weapons division. That way you have 3 champions and 1 grand champion overall. I think that was a smart way of handling this. And it added a ton of drama to the point that they started the tournament in episode 9, not episode 10. First season was episode 10 only. This one was 2 episodes.
I'm trying not to interrupt you, therefore I'm just writing notes on
Please.
things I will say later.
Do you want to finish your notes or should I keep going?
No, keep going. I'm just going to keep adding.
I'm going to throw one last thing out there. If you noticed at the end of that season, Marty Cove's character, John Kreese, told, I believe it was Robbie, Tori, do whatever you feel is right. He gave her the option so she can win honorably because I think, you said that, he cares about Johnny. Yes. I think he cares about Tori too. And that's why he had that conversation with Amanda in the supermarket where he's like, you got her fired from a job that she needed because her mom's on dialysis, and then Amanda feels like a schmuck because of the fact that she got this girl that, of course, she doesn't like, but she got this girl inadvertently fired when she's in a bad situation. I think the whole thing that was a little hokey about, it turns out Amanda, took a baseball bat to her teacher's car and he's like, you never told me that. And it's like, that sounded a little 90210-ish to me,
So the teacher will make an appearance in season 5.
The teacher's going to be sober.
I mean, and short of getting, what's her face, Hilary Swank from the 4th movie.
Still waiting on that too.
We've exhausted everything.
Maybe the teacher's Michael Ironside.
Yeah, I never watched the next Karate Kid. I barely remember Karate Kid 3. When Daniel's wife asks, like, is there going to be any other Cobra Kai people from your past? And he's just like, well, maybe. And I can't really think of anyone. I know there was the other fighter from number 3, but was there anyone from the next Karate Kid?
Mike Barnes was the guy from Karate Kid 3. Next Karate Kid, which, by the way, I believe the series took place in Boston. That movie was somewhere.
Yeah, it has no connection to Cobra Kai itself.
Yeah, really. No, it was just basically Mr. Miyagi was the only part of it. And if you take him out, it's a brand new movie into itself. Hilary Swank, I'm still waiting on an appearance. I'm expecting her to show up in the actual storyline. Hilary Swank's character, Julie, met Daniel at Mr. Miyagi's funeral. So they do know each other, but who knows if and when she's going to show up. But
plus, Hilary Swank can still throw down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she can handle her own.
I thought Daniel showed up in the next Karate Kid. He wasn't in main character, but I remember seeing him in that film.
Who's that?
Daniel.
He was not in the next Karate Kid. He was referenced in it though.
I thought like near the end,
like a flashback, like they've done with the show.
Maybe they did a flashback, but I don't remember.
No, like he was older. Like. All right, never mind.
Hold on. This is where IMDb, our greatest resource.
But at the end of the day, what I've noticed about it is I think they're realizing that they can't do they can't do the, will they, won't they hate each other thing with Daniel and Johnny anymore. And I think the writers are smart enough to not do that for season 5. I think they extended it too far with season 4. But with season 5, I am guessing maybe around September it's going to get released because, like I said, they already wrapped season 5. So it's a matter of post and everything else that's involved there. But I'd like to be able to see something where they kind of do their own thing. You have Daniel and Chozen working together. You don't know what other techniques and styles that Chozen can train Daniel on, because he trained him in season 3. So you don't know what else is in Chozen's brain up there. That was unfortunately spoiled for me because I saw a thumbnail on Cobra Kai Theory that had the two of them together and it had predictions for season 5. And like, crap, I already know that Chozen's going to show up in season 4. I heard because, so it irked me a little bit that way. But that's just me, surfing YouTube by mistake.
Yeah, sorry, no Ralph Macchio in that.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
okay,
I
that's
looked
fine.
it up myself.
Although, have you seen the cast that was in the next Karate Kid?
Michael Ironside, I remember, but I forget who the rest were.
Michael Ironside, Walter Goggins.
That bird.
Some of the monks.
There's a bird.
Jim Ishida I've seen in some things. Like, not a bad cast. I would like to see any of these people just like turn up as like someone who ends up working for Terry. Some of these henchmen.
Like I said, Michael Ironside. What's he doing these days?
Well, no. Get Goggins. He's the one that's like the more palpable of everyone.
Was he the evil student? I don't remember. Remember there was like a not boyfriend who was part of like the I think it was the Alpha Squad or
Charlie. He played Charlie.
Yeah, because they were part of like the Alpha Squad of their high school, but they were like the Delta Force of this high school because plot. Right. And there was one guy that kind of saw the light and learned from it, and there was one guy who was just like pure hardcore, the Mike Barnes, Johnny Lawrence Chozen type for that movie. And I don't remember which character it was.
I don't know. There's a few people here that have fighting repertoires. Chris Conrad, I know from a lot of the Hercules and Xena stuff, played Eric.
Well, that would be timely because I was 94.
Who I think is the dead ringer for Ralph Macchio because he's just got like those deep eyes and the nose for it. That was Ned. And yeah, Dugan was, I guess, the one they all played under.
Okay. Colonel Dugan, I think, was the name of. Yeah, you're right. I think there's something to that. That movie's almost 30 years old in its own right.
Is it nearing 30? Because then that's all the more reason for them to go ahead and drop something from it.
Yeah, 1992. 1994 came out.
Yep, so 28.
Because I remember it saw. Was that
28 years old?
Okay.
Oh, so we're nearing it.
Yeah, I remember because I remember
seeing them to go ahead and be like, "Hey, anniversary."
Well, they released that and Karate Kid on DVD side by side. It never got an exclusive release on DVD because the sales were so poor.
Did people buy DVDs still?
Well, no, but like the early 2000s.
All right. Besides Ryan.
Besides Ryan, yes. Or Brian.
Dude, when the internet dies, I've got all the hard copies. That's all that matters.
All right, so I took down some notes
please.
as Scott was talking here. So Tori, I just want to go back to Tori real fast because Tori has been like, yeah, you see the little sympathy, like, oh, she's fighting for her little brothers and sisters or whoever it was. I can't remember because it was the third season. But she's sympathetic. But at the same time, she broke into this woman's house.
Mm-hmm.
She beat the hell out of her daughter, destroyed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, beat her up actually like 3 times, like left scars on her. And then at the end of this, like, I what's the name of the character? The mother's name?
Amanda.
I would agree with Amanda to like do everything in my power possible to make Tori's life a living hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you have John Kreese come in and go, she has a hard life. And Amanda's suddenly like, oh my, she has a hard life. And I'm being so mean to her. I should really try to help. Like, if that was real life, if someone broke into your house with a baseball bat, came after your family, kicked your cat, stole your stuff, and then found out later, well, they had
on your PlayStation.
And then someone said to you, well, they had a bad childhood. It's like, lock them the fuck up. You would not have sympathy for that person. You'd be like, oh, that really sucks. Also, lock them the fuck up.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You
Right, but
fun.
I think in that turn, I could almost see Amanda seeing Tori as kind of like what Robbie was, and how Daniel pretty much took Robbie under his wing when he was down and out and destitute and living on the streets, life of crime, that sort of thing. So pretty much it almost parallels that story where it's like, I want to do something to help this person because I can understand that if I don't, it'll just get worse.
But I mean, like, all right, you and I are wrestling fans. This is only could happen in the world of professional wrestling. Like, this doesn't happen in real life. In professional wrestling, you go, yes, you beat me up and set me on fire and stabbed me and ran me over with a car, but I hate this person even more, so we'll team up and beat them up together as friends. That happens in wrestling. It doesn't happen in real life. So I'm just watching this, and I'm like, yeah, this is Cobra Kai, and the Grays go back and forth. But no.
Okay, but I mean, what part of this is real life? They had a rumble at the school.
Like
that only happens in like West Side Story or something.
Look at everything Tori did, and starting next season, Tori is probably going to be one of the main good guys. It's just like
one of the ones on the fence, certainly.
Yeah. But she's going to turn towards the good guys. She's not sticking with them.
Probably not.
I don't know. She may be even more set in her ways than she may want to think. I mean, she seems more devoted to Kreese than she would Silver. So it doesn't mean she's anti-Cobra Kai, but I think she just means that she's anti-Silver.
She also apologized to Sam for the elbow in the face during that match.
Yeah. Why?
Because she probably wanted to win honorably, I guess.
It was sort of like, oh, I didn't really want to hit because I promised Amanda that I wouldn't really hurt you, even though I kind of really want to hurt you. I tried not to do it. Like,
well, she also said that, basically when she was looking at Miguel and Sam, after a while, she's like, do you care? And then she made out with Robbie.
Again, it's like, you lose your moment in the show. You enjoy it. So you just accept it. It's like professional wrestling. It doesn't make sense, but you just accept it because you hate the other person more than you hate that person. Now, but at the same time, it's legit, just like...
I'm going to ask a question because I legit don't know, but leaving the karate out of it and the beating the crap out of each other, the makeouts and the pettiness, is that normal high school? Because I don't know. I was a comic book, unpopular geek who never...
I am the youngest person here. I am 36. I'm the youngest person here. I'm 36. I don't know what high school. The people graduating this year are half of my age.
Okay, well, I lie about my age, so I may be able to answer this question.
I know what you're saying.
If we're talking about teenagers in a relatively well-to-do, financially well-off environment, yeah, some of this could be done in certain areas, especially California. Like the smoke show that Tori and Robbie put on when they got to the prom, I could so see some people doing that just because they are that extra, because they can be. Now, obviously, for the sake of the storyline, there was a purpose to being a little bit more flashy than, say, what Sam and Miguel looked like. But I mean, the high school drama aesthetic of all this, I think, plays in a lot more realistically than, say, any of the karate or anything else. It might be the most realistic thing about the whole show.
Okay.
Save for the, the nerdy guy getting the hot girl. That's just, fan service. All right? Let's be clear.
The power of karate.
Yeah. She shows up to the prom and he's wearing a Pac-Man tuxedo. All right,
notice that? Yeah,
no country in the world will that ever happen.
I forget what season did that all come about. Was that season 2 or season 3?
Okay, the dramas. Which that? When they started making out, season 3.
The nerd and the most popular girl in school. 3.
Yeah. Okay, you have a high school kid and a kid in middle school. Okay, yeah. See, like I said, I mean, I was a chess geek who read comics in the 80s and the early 90s. I got beaten up for that kind of stuff. I never attended my prom or took the SAT because I'm just like, what's the point? So I don't really understand necessarily what like true high school drama can be like.
It's up there. If you look at most other teen dramas, It gets a lot deeper than even that. Be lucky we're getting
Well,
like
yeah,
the surface
anything
layer
CW.
typical stuff.
I'm kind of curious though of the bullying though, because I went to school when like bullying was just starting to be created. I think MySpace though didn't come out till like a year after I graduated. So like this level of like going on social media and making things to insult kids, like does this really happen? Like
Yes, it does.
to this
That one, I,
level?
that one I know is a fact.
Way worse than what Kenny got.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, the milk is impressive though. I got to give him credit, and I like the twist the fact that Daniel's son was the instigator. I thought that was great. I was not expecting that one.
Well, to be fair, Daniel's son was a little prick even from the season
Yeah,
one.
I know, but you know what? He never got his chance in 3 seasons. He never did anything. He literally never. This is his first season where he actually did something.
Yeah, because he was old enough to actually do something.
And and to get his credit, that kid dropped like 35 pounds.
Growth spurt.
Growth spurt.
What's that?
But growth spurt. But at the same exact time is like that was another thing that didn't really make a lot of sense to me was what turned him to going, yeah, what I'm doing is wrong. I should apologize. Like you could see the little things here and there saying where it shows like I don't really hate this kid. I would even be friends with him if I weren't a little jerk. But at the same time, nothing there seems to make him finally go, okay, I should apologize. But then he does it out of nowhere.
Well, they got to close out the season proper, I guess.
Yeah.
So
let's face it, with everything that he's probably seen from the sidelines with his father and with Sam and Robbie, who lived in the house too, and all the things that go on now at the schools, because he's going to be eventually going to high school out of middle school. Even then, when they had that little trip in the season this year, it's a matter of, okay, is this an isolated thing? Or will it span generations? Will it span years? Will it span classes? And
well, this is the other.
Yes.
This is the other thing to say, though, is, in 4 seasons, only 1 year has passed. And it's 4 years, so they're still in high school because time has not changed.
Like that
one kid has grown a lot, but
that's a heck of a spurt.
Yeah. But yeah, he'll be shaving by the time he's 13. Well, that does make sense. But
also, if you notice these actors, and especially like Robbie and Hawk and Miguel, they filled out pretty well. I mean that final fight where basically you've got Hawk, Eli, whatever you want to call it, and Robbie fighting, without their shirts or without the tops on, was probably pure fan service to be like, we have abs, let's show them.
Dude, there are wrestlers that aren't that fit. It's ridiculous.
Dude, I saw that. I'm like.
It's like, wait, hold on. These are high school kids, and they're all rocking 8-packs. Like, come on.
It's the industry now. I mean,
what are they?
I wouldn't be least bit surprised. You got 16 and 17-year-olds because they start training earlier than ever.
What's in that valley water?
I don't know. Some people work out, and a lot of them do start in high school age. So, and they're not to mention they are actors in an action thing. So someone's probably telling them like, "Yeah, you need to work out if you want to look good for the show."
I know, but that's the funny thing. It's like you see these kids who have only been doing this for
gaming. We haven't been talking about Boba Fett yet,
and they get to this level of physique. Meanwhile, Danny and Johnny and Kreese and Terry, they've been doing this stuff for like decades, and the dad pods are exclusively on them.
Well, here's the thing.
Well,
Johnny,
dude, once you hit that
Johnny's
age.
55, 56 years old, whatever he is. William Zabka is in phenomenal shape. You can see a little bit of gut when it comes to Ralph Macchio, but him, man.
1 year on these kids equals like much more on that. Come on.
Well, if you saw the picture that Chris Cullen had with him, he just posted on Facebook. You see Zabka there, and you're like, this dude is in his mid 50s, and he is really ripped.
Yeah. When I notice about people in their mid 50s, that's around the time I think most people I see start to age a little bit more, and I did kind of see it on Zappa a little bit. Like he in his face, he is starting to age a little bit more. Yeah, but it's nothing you can really do about that.
It was one thing when the show started and season 1 compared him to now.
Probably.
That's been a long year for Johnny. You can tell the difference.
So we're talking about Mike Barnes season 5. We probably see that coming.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is the next progression.
that's the kid from the third movie. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mike
Mike Barnes.
Barnes. But here's the funny thing
Man,
about
I had like all these notes to come back at, and I got through one.
Dude, we may not even get to Boba Fett. We got like 15 minutes left on the show. We may not even talk about it.
Yeah, I'm about to say
But
we have
also
lots of subject matter, but you guys are just so on. I hate that I'm so on this because I said like last show this was like specifically your guys' thing, and
Yeah.
yet
No, I
I'm
knew
getting
from
sucked
2
in,
weeks
man.
ago.
It's like,
I knew
please
from
talk
2
to
weeks
me.
ago
It's
that
like, what happened?
like Scott was so into it like 2-3 weeks ago. I'm just like, yeah, I know. Once that's the entire show is going to be right afterwards. It's just all Cobra Kai.
I mean, listen.
So
Here's what I'm going to say is this, and this is something. If you notice with Cobra Kai, it started with Johnny, then it was Johnny and John, and then it was John and Terry, and next progression is probably going to be Terry and Mike Barnes because it's all about that fan service, and that's one of the things I have to say that Sony is very smart with. Because you saw this where you had the blend of action and fan service and entertainment here in Cobra Kai and also with Spider-Man No Way Home. They did that balance where they have that action combined with that fan service to give the audience what they want. Sony is watching every other production company out there, and they're looking at all of it and saying, okay, what can we do better? And if you look at basically, I don't know exactly where it is right now, but I do know for an absolute fact that Spider-Man No Way Home has outperformed at the box office Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the Eternals combined.
Actually, it's also made the top 10 highest grossing of all time, knocking out Incredibles 2.
And it's about to overtake Black Panther.
Well, can I also point out that, when you I think nostalgia kind of sells. So we know Spider-Man, and they brought back 20 years worth of Spider-Man. Versus what was the other one? Shang-Chi, which not a bad film, but no one knows who Shang-Chi was unless you read the comics. The same thing for the Eternals. So yeah, of course it was.
Anything from part 4, he's talking about Karate Kid part 4. I don't know. Like I said earlier in the show, Julie Dwyer, I think Julie Dwyer was the character's name. She does know Daniel. They met at Mr. Miyagi's funeral. I don't know. Do you want to do a Hillary Swank? She shows up, says hi, kind of like Allie did last season. I would say no. Maybe you make a mention. Yeah. And basically, yeah, Dave Filoni is God. Thank you for saying that. Everything except for the original Clone Wars movie has been gold from that man. And even that wasn't like that bad, but it just kind of like, eh.
Oh, let's not get into Star Wars because then we got to start with Boba Fett stuff. And obviously, we're going to have our show tomorrow for episode 2. And
yes,
you talk about mixed reviews and expectations on nostalgia. Oh my god! And anyone else want? I know you wanted to talk about like how it was divisive, but what can we say that we didn't already say in last Wednesday's episode after the episode aired? I mean,
do it again. Listen. I double back on shows all the time because most people don't sit for the entire hour. So. I mean,
right, but the thing is, you were saying, obviously, with what we've seen in Cobra Kai, nostalgia sells. You're getting what you paid for in a sense. On the reverse,
and we learned that the nostalgia of Boba Fett is that he's not really as good as we remember him to be,
which is part Disney's idea. And this is where I think people are going to get pissed with it. Go ahead.
Which, by the way, I was kind of saying last week. Like I was blaming Robert Rodriguez on the show and saying, John was the one who started all this. He knew what he was doing. No, John's actually the showrunner for this as well. So, so it's also his fault.
So definitely taking a different approach than what they did with the Mandalorian, I would say.
Just to cover this.
Is it the same approach? I mean, this could have been so much better. They really cut. I'm so angry that I can't put my words together on this.
Well, no, it's definitely a different show just because of the structure of it. Compare The Mandalorian to this. The Mandalorian, we knew nothing about this character except we recognized the type of armor. And it's just a slow burn and it's a slow crawl, very westerny, very, man without a name sort of feel to it, where we just see him progress through this one singular adventure. Whereas with Boba Fett, we're getting like a mashup of two different stories. We're getting everything about how he escaped the Sarlacc pit leading up, and then we're also seeing his ascension to, Jabba status and the consequences that come with that. So it's like, it's half political in a sense, and it's half gangland, and the other half is trying to be what the Mandalorian was, but it's not there.
Not there yet. No. Let me just answer this real quick as far as that question that popped up over there. We'll come back to Boba Fett.
Yeah, because I can't see questions. So if you've got questions,
yeah, that's okay. But there was a question about Kreese's quasi redemption at the tournament, and yeah, I think he was talking to Tori about the fact that he's like, you win the way you want to. Don't cheat to win. You can see him kind of flipping from like what was perceived as like chaotic evil to more like a noble. I'm not going to say neutral evil or maybe lawful evil. That might be too much.
Chaotic neutral.
Terry Silver's falling directly into chaotic evil. But that's like I said. We'll have to see what happens when he gets out of jail in season 5. But as far as Boba Fett goes, it was a little sluggish for us, and I think I had mentioned something. I think I was talking on I commented on Star Wars Theory that it lacked what, like, say, the Mandalorian had, or some of the other shows out there where you have this. I'm going to use the word holy crap moment, where in Mandalorian you have this holy crap moment of it's a baby Yoda, Grogu later. In Bad Batch, when that came out afterwards, Bad Batch. You had that holy crap moment of Order 66 and them trying to adjust and seeing everything go down from a different perspective. Boba Fett did not have that holy crap moment. And I think that's what a lot of fans are pissed off about, because they come to expect something where you're like, dude, that was cool. And I think
you need that for the first episode. Like, think the first episode of Cobra Kai. When we got into it, there was like a nice fight right in the center of the episode. It was an episode that put you on the right pace for the rest of the season. If this is supposed to be the episode that puts us on the pace for the rest of the season, for only these 6 episodes that they have to work with, it's gonna be rather dull until let's get to episode 4 or 5.
Well, that was another thing too. I saw a lot of the fan complaints. I mean, they were surrounded by ray shields, and you can use the line from, if you choose to, Rise of Skywalker. They fly now. They fly now. Why didn't he fly now? He can go up. People are like, why didn't he just go straight upwards?
He has the pack.
Exactly. Why did he not fly if you're surrounded like this and you can go up? It was kind of like that was named from Dragon Ball Z, a bridge. It's like, you could have flown. Damn you, hindsight.
Mando flew. Mando had no problem using him when necessary.
Exactly. It's like, dude, are you really not thinking this through here? I mean, I know you're a little, you're physically not there yet. You're still recovering, and who knows what's going on there. But you understand the idea of being smart enough to know how to flee when you have to.
And he's going to lead by respect. And by respect, we mean, oh, yeah, go ahead and beat me up.
Well, see, that's another thing, toning down the character.
No, you're not. And that's really the thing that got me about this. It's like expectation versus what you really get. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we see a lot of this in media. We see a lot of it in television shows. We see a lot of it in movies. Someone actually brought up something to me. I don't know if you guys had actually seen the movie The Voyeurs on Amazon.
No.
Kind of looked like, almost a 50 Shades of Grey, racy type of noir type film. Nothing like that. Boring as all heck. They pretty much, people got captivated by the stuff that looked like sexy time. Got barely any sexy time, and it was just a middling sort of drama. And that's the problem. You anticipate something based upon what you first see, and when you're giving it's like a bait and switch. I think back to Mother. If you remember when the trailers came out for that, the one with Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence, where it looked like an actual horror movie, and instead it's like some sort of liturgy about Mother Earth and God and our relationship with the heavens. And I'm like, dude, just give me a ghost. All right, just give me a freaking ghost. But no, you can't do that, because you got to go ahead and you got to sell us something that we know we want to see, and then you put us in a seat where it's something else. And I can't stand that, because then it almost kills any goodwill that I happen to have towards your product. And I don't know why people do it, just so they can try to get like those first initial numbers. Well, but when they start seeing them drop, what have you really solved?
In school, have either of you ever read the book Bridge to Terabithia?
No, but I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay. I
I know
had
where
to
you're
read
going with
that
this.
in middle school. And basically what the story was about was a kid in the Midwest who is lonely, doesn't really have their friends. Then a girl moves next door. She's a bit of a tomboy. They become friends. They have a big imagination, so they pretend they make this kingdom in the woods called Terabithia. Of course, they cross a bridge, blah, blah, blah. And nothing about it is science fiction or fantasy. It is just a slice of life story, some happy moments, some sad moments, mostly a drama. Well, this movie, they made a movie about it, and it came out around the same time as the Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay.
So every advertisement on it, and not to mention they threw a ton of CGI in just so you could see their imaginary creatures in their head. And then they advertised it like it was another version of Chronicles of Narnia, where it's like, oh, they crossed this magical bridge and then they're in a whole nother world. And then I think I remember so many people were so mad about that. And it's like, I knew it wasn't. But again, for someone who didn't know what it was, I could see why they would be upset going into there expecting a big action fantasy and getting a little kids drama film.
Mm.
Well, it almost feels like, at least Cobra Kai has it right where they're not really surprising you with anything that you shouldn't expect. Even from the initial shows when it was on YouTube, you knew it was going to be nostalgic. You knew it was going to be campy because they were kind of playing off of what happened in the original movies. And they've pretty much set that pace ever since. But then shows like Boba Fett, movies like Bridge to Terabithia, I don't understand the mentality of selling you a bill of goods because they'll eventually bite you in the rear end afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You actually had a movie, I think, Scott, that you wanted to mention. Which one was it?
Oh, Mission to Mars from 20 years ago. That was terrible. It was a
now. What was that? How was that played out?
Basically, it was first of all, it's Gary Sinise, Don Cheadle, Tim Robbins, and Jerry O'Connell. So not a bad cast there.
Nice cast.
And yeah, it's called Mission to Mars. And the trailer was like, all our life we've been wondering where we came from, but we were looking on the wrong planet. And obviously, where is it coming from? But they showed these action scenes, and they showed Jerry O'Connell screaming, and all this stuff going on. All the action scenes of the entire film were in the trailer. Everything else was just people just talking like this the entire time.
Oh, I hate that.
And it was one of those things where it's like, we have to figure out what we need to do. Well, what do you think we should do? Well, this is what I think we should do. That's a good idea, but I think we should do this. Well, how about this? If we do this, this is a good idea. Let's do this. No, I don't think we should do that. I think we should do this and that. How about this and this? And it was just like, and you pay $20 to see this in theaters. And I remember seeing it and being just bored. And it's like, dude, your trailers looked amazing, but you showed all of the stuff just to get everybody in the door for that $1 in that moment.
Oh, God.
But,
so it's one of those sci-fi ones where it's a lot of talking.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like interesting talking. It was just talking heads.
Oh, God, that's the worst kind of sci-fi. That's almost the kind of stuff that almost put me to sleep on that one version of Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be really action-packed. It's like, all the action happens with Roy Batty. Outside of that, it's a lot of talking and maybe one woman doing gymnastics.
Which Blade Runner are you talking about? Are you talking the reboot of it, or the Ryan Gosling one?
The new one, or
I'm
the
talking
old
about
one?
the director's cut, the super long version.
Okay,
Yeah.
the original one that was more based on the original failed Kodak book.
Yeah, the one that put me to sleep.
I actually liked it, but I didn't watch the director's cut, but I liked the original film.
I mean, grab some coffee if you do so. Just saying.
Well, see, that's why you stop a movie, you pee, you come back to it later. It's no big deal. So,
man, we get 2.5 long movies now that I'm actually interested in. I hold the pee, so that's why I don't miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm not trying to do that with something from the 80s.
So I'm guessing we're gonna have to start wrapping this up. I think. Top 10 worst sci-fi movie. That's a conversation for next week. What do you think?
That'd be a good idea.
Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we can probably do top 10 worst sci-fi movies. I was raised on crap once. I was raised on Ed Wood as a child. I was raised on Robot Monster, Egon, all that stuff too. But I can easily mix in some new ones, or ones from 20 years ago, Battlefield Earth. I paid no money to see that movie because it was a showing with Shanghai Noon, the Jackie Chan Owen Wilson movie. And they're like, you see this movie, you can see Battlefield Earth, for free. I'm like, okay, cool. Still wasn't worth the money.
Is that the one with John Travolta?
Yeah, where they're all like, you know, dreadlocked aliens and like high boots, and they're all mining
The
for gold.
politics of that one.
You know what? I kind of liked that as a kid. Don't ask me why. I kind of liked it.
And this is why we have the panel that we do, people. Quite to the divide, always different thoughts.
That's the plan. So you know what? Next Tuesday, we're going to do that. We're going to do a breakdown on our top 10 worst sci-fi movies. We do have to wrap it up, though, for, you know, commercials on the back end for Zingo. But thanks to you guys down there. I appreciate that. Thanks to Dave Filoni Gaming. By the way, Dave Filoni is God. I can't rock the cowboy hat like he can. Thank you also, Teresa Burns, as well. You know, I know that you're tied to Ryan and things like that. But anyway, tomorrow night, we're doing Book of Boba Fett Episode 2 watch party on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tales from the Film Set. In the meantime, on Instagram, on Facebook, Tales from the Film Set, and also on Twitter at FilmSetTales. For myself, I'm Scott. That's JT. That's Ryan. That's Book of Boba Fett with the picture that I stole. Have a great night. Stay awesome.
Rest in peace, Betty White.